All right. All right. We're on. Sweet. Dude, you made it. Okay.
Made it.
Rough traffic. Not rough traffic,
No,
but the
traffic wasn't
honking
bad.
with the guy right around here. So,
I'm very stubborn when it comes to Sunday in New York because if I can find free parking, I'm going to find it. But I finally gave up.
Now, what happened was there like a guy crossing the street and some guy was just honking?
No. So it's, when it's a one-way street and left turn doesn't have the right of way. The people turning right do.
Yeah.
And so someone was very frustrated that I did not cut off the people turning right when I was turning left and made sure to let me know about it. So that was...
Did you let them know back?
Let's just say that my Midwest upbringing is starting to slowly chip away the longer that I'm here.
So New York's coming out?
New York's coming out, which is good. I can advocate for myself a little bit better, I guess. Yeah.
I'm gonna put the elevator on this side. Yeah, I don't know. It's been people. They've always been in New York. I mean, people have always been super aggressive here.
So the way that I kind of think about it is that it's like everyone's very honest.
Yeah, listen.
Everyone's very honest, like honest to almost a fault. I remember one of my first months when I moved here. I was on the subway, and it was summer when I had just moved here, and this young guy asked me, "Do you know if this train goes to Williamsburg?" And my response is, "I'm really sorry, I don't know. I just moved here." And this old man who was like standing right next to us turns and looks to who I assume was his wife and said, "Why the hell would you get on a train and not know where it's going?" Like, just loud enough for everyone to hear. So it was like brutally honest, but at the same time, you know exactly where you stand. It's not like, you don't know if someone is being fake. Everyone is very authentic, which...
Interesting. Someone, I think it was a patient, they were like, "Yeah, I'm from Florida. I grew up here, moved down to Florida. And I don't know, down there, some people are a lot more fake, a little bit more racist." And I was like, really? Okay. I mean, I don't know that. But then he was like, in New York, they're absolute douchebags. They're just straight douchebags, but they're brutally honest. And I was like, that's an interesting point, because you'll be crossing the street, they'll yell at you, and you're like, okay, I can move over or whatever.
But not all feedback is bad. It's like when you know if someone's saying something kind or nice, you know that it's like, it's real.
Yeah.
Growing up in the Midwest, it was always like, do they mean that? Is there subtext to this? Is there something that else is going on? Whereas in New York, they tell you good, bad, indifferent. They'll be honest.
All of it.
All of it.
What time is the show and what are you seeing today?
Show's at 3. I, being the way that I am, like to get there a half hour early.
So 2:30. Get there 2:30.
Yeah, I'll probably pay for parking out there just because it's a little bit far away from here. I'm seeing spam a lot today, which will be interesting because I have never seen the Monty Python movie, nor have I seen the show. So I'm not going to get any of the references, but we'll see. It's supposed to be good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen Monty Python either. I just realized I left the windows open because these lights up top can really get like they heat up the room in like half hour. But thank God it stopped raining. When I woke up this morning, it was just coming down.
Yeah.
And between going to the city, driving in here as it is, and then rain on top of it, that could have been pretty.
Most times, especially if it's not somewhere around the major train stations like, Penn or Grand Central, I'll drive. Especially on Sundays when there's free parking. So that's not a problem.
The only place, it's so hard around here to find free parking. Stuytown has some stuff.
Yeah.
I've parked there before. Around here, I got a small car. What car do you drive?
A Cruise. Small.
So you could fit into spots, but there, I don't know, in Midtown, it's just, you can do it.
Yeah.
You need to be committed. You need to have like an eagle eye for it, like a hawk eye.
Oh, I've definitely honed in my skill.
All right.
Yeah. Come for the dentistry, stay for the parking advice.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. What do you say? Oh, so one of the things, the stand just broke before we got on to my little microphone thing. Super bummer. So I'm going to be fidgeting around. Hopefully there's not too much interference here, but we got it. We're moving. What do you say? You want to open up a beer?
Yeah.
It's afternoon, so
it's
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you want to start with?
You start closest to you and move towards me.
All right. Yeah. Let's do it.
It's already laid
Not
out.
Towards you, definitely towards me?
Yeah. No, start with you.
Okay. And which one is the...
So this is my recommendations: first, second, third, fourth.
Love it. Let's start
Yeah.
with this one. Which glass
So-
do you want to use?
I'll use a Teku glass.
Awesome. We'll do that. Let's start with these. Okay. So we're going to open it up. This is the juice
That's the
machine.
juice machine from Treehouse Brewing in Massachusetts. So this is probably my favorite of their base beers. They are known for their New England style IPA, which is the hazier IPAs.
Love it.
They're kind of one of the kind of poster child of this style.
Got it.
This is my favorite of their base IPA. So there's nothing, added to this at all. It's just IPA.
This is, let's listen to this. Hold on. We
Is
got
this ASMR now.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Gotta love that. I mean, why not, right? So these are all Treehouse Brewing, you were saying.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, and then we got the third that I brought. Not an IPA. I know. I'm sorry about that. I saw this. It's got like
I was thinking about bringing like a sour and a stout.
And then we got a bunch of the glasses here to try them in. Let me pour this into yours first. So this was your favorite. This is what I was getting to before. I was like, so what? Like, why this order and whatnot? Because I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, the other two are additives. So this one uses a powder fruit additive, and then this one
A powdered fruit?
dried guava powder. And guava puree. This is a multi-fruit dried powder, I think.
Oh, this looks gorgeous. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
These glasses, these are the nicest glasses I have for beer. This is these are from Fifth Hammer. It's in Brooklyn. We got to go there at some point. Great winter spot, nice like rustic and wood vibes. They got like barrels on the side of it. We'll go there sometime.
Yeah.
So cheers. Let's give it a shot, huh? Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. I will say this: every time we hang out, it rains.
It did rain last time.
Yeah, you were stuck on a bike pedaling into.
Oh yeah,
into
soaked.
Yeah,
soaked. We were at Reichenbach Hall that time. Good German food,
Not
good
sponsored.
beer. Yeah. This is delicious. It's got a real nose on it. Very floral. I like that a lot.
That's what they're known for. They're known for kind of the more citrus forward hop profile.
And when was
juicy, if you will.
Oh, it's juicy, all right. This is delicious. And it's kind of like a smoothie, a very thick texture.
Yeah.
When did you go to Treehouse Brewing? Tell me about that.
This was Veterans Day? November. Yeah. Veterans Day.
A month ago. Maybe,
yeah.
Right?
So I went up just for the weekend, went up to Portland, Maine, just to escape the city for a little bit. Just take advantage of the long weekends. The nice thing about being here is that there's so much within driving distance, Philly, Boston, Maine, DC, everything, if you want to get away, it's very easy to do so by train, by car. And so that was my excuse to kind of get out of the city for a weekend, get some good lobster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they have some great brewing up there. What shipyards from Maine? Is this in that area? I'm not familiar with Maine, too. I know it's quiet. I know it's very quiet up there.
The big ones in Portland are Bissell Brothers for IPAs. And then Allagash is a big sour. They do a lot of natural fermentation with wild yeast. They're known for their sours. There's a lot of other small breweries that are also very, very good up there as well. So
yeah,
I enjoy it. It's a nice little getaway. I've got a few friends that live both in Maine and in Portland specifically. So I have a friend from high school that lives in Camden, Maine, which is a little bit north of Portland, and we met up. And then the oral pathologist at University of New England, who originally was in New York and then moved up there. So
University of New England, UNE, right?
UNE.
That's in Maine? I don't.
Yeah, it's in Portland. Yeah.
I had no idea where it was.
Yeah.
I thought
Shout
it was
out to
massive.
Dr. Cohen.
Dr. Cohen. I totally wait. Do I know her? Did I ever meet her?
Probably not.
She never lectured.
So she, you might have met her, but she trained at a program in New York, was hired on there, and then ended up kind of finding this position in
what program in New York?
Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai. Okay, so right here in the city area, and you know her from, you said.
So I met her when I was starting residency. She was good friends with our graduate at the time, who now works with us in the department, Dr. Kathleen Schultz. And they graduated at the same time, and there were three of them. her, Molly, Dr. Cohen, and then Dr. Sarah Glass, who's at University of Virginia. All three of them kind of graduated from New York programs at the same time. And apparently they have a nickname that they're the bad girls of oral pathology. But very nice, very like kind.
Shout
people.
out to the
So
band girls.
I don't know.
Where did that come from? Do we have any background?
I guess there was like a resident that went up to, oh, you're the bad girls of oral pathology, but they're really not. Like they're very nice, all very nice people. But they like every meeting and conference they still room together. But when I first moved here, I didn't know a lot of people, and Molly and her husband Matt kind of took me under their wing, and so I would hang out with them quite a bit. And then they moved up to Maine, and so I visited them. I visited them a few times. Up in Maine. The oral pathology community is very small. So there's about 250 or so in the US. So it's really nice because it's a nice little community. I mean, everyone
That is
kinda
fantastic,
knows
yeah.
each other really well. So if I meet a dental student and I ask where they went, I usually know they're oral pathologists. So it's kind of nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to try real quick. I want to make sure that, would you be able to tap, like, make sure? Okay, so that's a problem. Wait.
No, it's on. It's on. See, you can test. There you go. But you can hear me when I talk.
I hear you, but I want to make sure.
No, you can see the thing move.
This one?
Yeah.
But that.
Oh, that's yours?
Yeah, so I just had this thought. So, well, I'll tell you.
Is mine not hooked up?
That's my question now. What the heck? They should both be plugged in. So this will arise because I did there should be two. Input. Here we go. No, it's definitely plugged in and working. Input volume, good. Okay, Pro, turn microphone. That's crazy. It's almost like it's not. Do you have any ideas? It's plugged in. It's plugged in here. Plugged in here. It's plugged in here, right? There's no on and off switch, so it should just be plugged in.
Here.
Going.
Unplug yours and see what happens.
But it's plugged in over here. Oh, hit it. Boom. Now that one's plugged in. Okay, let's try this.
So it's the USB in there.
It wouldn't just have like one at a time, would it?
Wow.
And then this one.
Test. It seems like working.
So when I hit it, it has full input there. There's something. Okay. All right. So I don't know how. All right. Well, we got something now. So this will happen. I just had that thought really quickly because this was a few weeks ago. I spoke at the District 2 thing in Jersey City, and I set up the laptop and everything. I'm not great with technology. It's always been a struggle. I try to work on using it and practicing it. I was never like just gifted IT wise, but I set up the computer, everything, hit record, went back to the stage and everything, set up, everything was ready to go. We started, went back to it, and I hit stop. And then I closed the laptop, whatever. When I got home, that's when it was recording. Oh, so when I hit stop, that's when it started, and just not retard. That was just a very, very dull moment.
Yeah. Most case scenarios, then it's not usable, and we drink good beers.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be useful. It's gonna be useful. We're gonna get something. I wanted to make sure that.
And worst case scenario, then us talking about parking.
That's all part of the thing, All right. So there was an AMIS meeting for oral surgery. This is back in September. Is there an oral pathology meeting international?
Yeah, nationally and internationally. So there's two organizations, the American Academy of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology, AAOMP, and that has an annual meeting. And then there's also the International Academy of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology, and they have, I believe their meeting is annual as well. Sometimes they combine. So my first meeting as a resident was in Vancouver, Canada. It was
Okay.
so that was nice. My, I guess, boss, the division chief, who was my director now, he's kind of the senior. He went this year for the international meeting. That was nice. Yeah. I I think I was going somewhere else. I think I was going somewhere. I'd love to go to Taiwan, but I think that another trip. Also, because he was gone, we kind of have to be strategic because
You're both going all
they've gone right. Yeah.
Interesting. I do want to go into, so actually, when I posted, what was it, 1, 2, 3 days ago, doing the Instagram story Q&A, a bunch of people reached out. I mean, you saw it.
Yeah.
Some people wanted to know about the person that actually forwarded the content. So you guys like that. But I wanted to go into the route. So for the people listening, the route of oral. How do we get into oral maxillofacial? First, I want to ask you about the trips. Because remember, we spoke. You were about to go on a trip. You just got back from one. I want to hear the sequence. 1, 2, 3. How many trips you went on? Where'd you go?
This year?
What was your fee? This year, since
a while ago, summer. So
it's like 6 months ago. Yeah.
Starting in January, I first and foremost, oral pathologists are not rich. I am a big believer in something called travel hacking. So it's using credit card reward points and bonuses to accumulate points to use for travel. So all of these trips are extravagant, but they are very cheap. I don't pay much. So the first trip was in January. I went to Anguilla, which is in the Caribbean. And again, I used points. So I used all my hotel nights were free because I had free hotel night certificates. And then the airline travel, I used points. So went there for the long weekend in January. I've decided that with my seasonal affective that I'm going to try to do a Caribbean in either January or February just for a weekend to get some vitamin D.
Wait, I like that idea. Yeah, I could do like an annual January, February, get to the Caribbean.
So this upcoming year, I'm going to Aruba. So that'll be nice. Again, I'm not paying for my hotel because I've got points. I used points and night certificates, and I paid $100 for my flight round trip because I used points.
Oh,
so
love it. And then, so that was January of this year. And then we got to get, what was that, May, June?
Yeah, May was Turkey.
Yes, so we hung out. That was April, May, and then it was like the next week. Literally a couple of days later, you went off to Turkey, and you did.
So Turkey, I was in Istanbul, went to Cappadocia, and then went to Bodrum, which is on the Mediterranean, and stayed there. That was May. June was our annual meeting in Salt Lake, so we all went to Salt Lake City. I didn't do as much exploring as I would have liked. I would have loved to have done the Utah parks. But again, it's really hard because for us, it's everyone in the division is gone. And so it's a lot of catch up. It's a lot of work beforehand. So it's not really fair to take a vacation around there. So we go to the meeting and then we go up and go home and catch up.
These meetings are so important, though. Sorry, these meetings are so important. So it's been 3 years now. I've missed all 3 years of the AMIS meeting, and I'm missing out on networking. I'm missing out on learning about from these lectures, the data. I'm missing out on learning about other programs, learning about other oral surgeons, learning about other procedures, and these are crucial. Sean, an orthodontist, he goes to I think they give them the week off to go to their meeting, and I mean, it is tough in oral surgery to take it off because we take call and whatnot. I've been on call that weekend all 3 years in a row. Hopefully next year I can go. But But these, what I was getting to is these meetings are so important. You learn so much. You meet so many people. You get to travel a little bit, and no, that's great. That's great. I mean, in oral pathology, I guess, there's not much diagnosing during that week, but no,
Well, it's kind of condensed. So a lot of times it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. So it's not too much time away.
it's really not bad.
And a lot of times we'll stagger so that there is some sort of coverage. Um, I know different programs have different kind of solutions for that, but that's kind of how we work. For us, it's really important from everything you said, networking and learning, but it's also where we get all of our CE. So I get all the CE that I need, both to maintain my oral pathology certificate and specialty, my diplomate status, in addition to my state licensure and all of that. So that's a really important part too. But June was Salt Lake. Unfortunately, the temple was under construction, so I didn't get to see that. But Salt Lake was beautiful. It was really nice. July, I went to Ireland. I did a week in Ireland. I rented a car, so I covered a lot of Ireland.
Did you get to the whole? Did you get into Northern Ireland?
I didn't get into Northern Ireland.
Okay.
But Ireland, the country, I traveled, and anyone that has ever been or is planning to go spend more than a week in Ireland, I was racing through Ireland a little quickly. I would have liked to have taken my time a little bit more, especially running a caravan. I did that in a day, which I don't recommend. Definitely take 2 days to do that. And then August I went to Peru.
Well, wait, that's Cappadocia?
Cappadocia. Cappadocia, I think is how they say it. And also, it's not Turkey. It's Turkey. So they changed it. It's Turky. Is the official.
Did you get to do the airline?
Yeah.
How was it?
That was incredible. The highlights from all of the travel, which I was nervous about. It's a very smooth. And then Machu Picchu, which everybody sees pictures, but until you experience it, it's we had a beautiful day.
I watched this Ben Donner set. He's like he's like a progressive house DJ and artist. He's a producer. He's mostly producer, but he does live sets. And he did a live set with Circle, CERCLE. It's like an organization that does all these live sets throughout the world. Spots like Machu Picchu. And he did the set from the air balloon. And I watched this since my third year, like D3 year of dental school. And ever since I got to go one of these years. Now, I'm not able to travel, like, really at all. But I'm so glad you got to do it. Yeah. I mean, this thing, it's scary. I mean, you're up in an air balloon.
No, not at all. So I was more nervous ahead of time because I was nervous that I was going to have an issue with heights and
right. I have the same issue.
Not a very thrill-seeking person. I don't like roller coasters. I don't absolutely no desire to bungee jump or skydive. It's a very smooth. So it's almost like taking an elevator to the understatement. It felt very safe.
No, so you're not like
that was my experience. So, but they are such experts in it that I think I've heard other people that planned it was canceled because of wind. So as long as you're going,
okay, yeah. I think I issue
the wind next fall. I mean, it was really smooth. It was incredible.
And it was a sunset.
Like early morning.
So is there one that's always?
My understanding is that it was up.
And then comes down in the
one. So it was 2 hours.
Okay.
That's how all the balloons go. So I'm pretty sure that and it's amazing. And outside of that, the region itself is beautiful. It's really cool.
Keep watching it, and then it's like you're on this airplane, but you're seeing like 25 in the back. And so I didn't know if this was like an all day thing. Let me just turn this. Shut up. Let's go. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I just want to make like, I didn't know if this was like an all day event where you're looking out over the horizon, you're slamming a couple beers on the way home.
No. It's up and down, up and down.
Oh, it's nice though. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so now you went to Turkey and then Ireland and then Peru. Ireland. Did you get to go to there? Have you watched any of the Viking shows? On Amazon, there's this Viking show about like Viking expeditions, right, all the log and stuff. And I looked it up. You're part Irish?
No, not at all.
Not at all. That's right.
Not at all.
We were talking
not a drop. Not a drop.
We did talk about that at Breaking My Call, but in that anyway. So side note, but in that I love these Viking shows. I don't know what it is. I really like to help me get through residency, right? And so the scenes are gorgeous. It looks like they're in Norway with the like from the water, just these mountains on the side. Turns out it takes place in Ireland. Most of the show. I don't know. I've never been to Ireland. I've been dying to go. Yeah. I don't know what part. I do on the map. I don't know. I don't know if you were in that area along the coast where the show takes place.
Yeah, there's a group of islands off of the west coast, and it's where Star Wars, the latest trilogy, did a few of their scenes that are pretty famous. I did not visit those. I did not. I saw them from the cliffs of Kerry, but I didn't have time to get on a boat to go out.
You landed in Dublin, or
landed and left from Dublin, so I did a ring.
And you did all of Southern Ireland?
So it's not south. So there's Ireland, the country, and then there's Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. So I was in Ireland, the country. So I started in Dublin, went down to Cork, went over to Kilkenny and Kerry, went up to Galway, back to Dublin.
Stop by the Guinness factory?
Did. How was that? It's touristy, but it was fun. The coolest part of that experience was at the end, the top floor is a bar, and so you get a really nice view.
The top floor. So you start at the bottom and you work your way up.
Yeah. And I did the pour your own pints and the all of that. So I have a good friend that I met on my Morocco trip that lives there. So I was very fortunate to stay with her and kind of have her as a tour guide. For when I was in Dublin. So then everything else I did. So that was nice to kind of get a local. Yeah.
Is it true that the Guinness in Ireland is different from the Guinness?
Yes, but it's kind of like, everyone claims that their pizza is the best. It's like New York pizza is the best. Chicago pizza.
That they're
and it's kind of like that. It's like, maybe it's a little bit better, but it's not like noticeably different.
I thought you were going to say that Ireland's claiming that their pizza is better. I was like,
Ireland's not confident. Although we did go to a very good pizza restaurant, but so that was it was better, but not
negligible. Not like okay. I
not overwhelming. So I'm not like a big. I like stouts. Not a big Guinness person. If I'm drinking a stout, Guinness is a little bit of a thinner mouthfeel, a little bit easier to drink. Also lower alcohol content than most stouts. If I want a stout, I want something. It's really low. If I have a stout, I want something. Stouts, especially when you good stout. But Guinness is a good stout.
Fan of barley?
No. Too syrupy.
Okay.
Barley wines are too syrupy.
Okay. You got me there. Yeah. I'm a big fan of barley wine, but you're right. If it's syrupy, it's like thick. It's something refreshing. You're right. It really depends on it. When it's a lighter consistency,
in general.
Oh, that's fair. That makes sense. I actually did get a stout the other day. So this was an 8.2.
Is it?
Yeah. I had a really small bowl of cereal this morning, and So good. It's going right through me. American Double IPA 8.2. The Juice Machine. Fantastic. Excellent choice. This was your favorite?
My favorite of the base.
Watch. So this is what we got. This is the fifth dose, like 2 glasses right here.
I might reuse the tank just because I'm a purist.
And use the
Tissue glass. So I'm going to use it just because pint glasses are good for ale ales and it's kind of restricted because the time which is what I usually drink a stick glass. And then also, so I'm going to use this. This is more of a water glass here. The Dr. Black will be good on this. I'm a glass person.
Well, let's go through this right now. So the first one's 8.2. This one's 8.5. And this one is 6 points. So you're going to show up to this. I have meetings I want to try and get a workout later today. We might not get to this one, so we'll put this in the back.
Feel good about that.
Right?
I'm very nervous about that.
Here, let me get a glass.
Use this real quick. All right. Pandemic, like sanity activity, outside of puzzles. Was trick. So I had to come to go. Because I think we all needed something to look forward to. So for me,
So it was traveling. You traveled during COVID.
no. So like during lockdown, I did a lot of planning, a lot of research, a lot of itinerary stuff, sites to see, things like that.
Now, COVID was one thing where we were all looking for something to do, not able to travel. I know a lot of people are like, I got to travel as soon as this thing ends. In healthcare as well, just relating this to at large, our career path, so much education. Right? Like it's just one after another, maybe a fellowship in another. Not so much traveling. In addition to that, traveling. I really want to go into this. The credit card, just pop it open. But the credit card. What's it called?
Travel hacking.
Yeah. That's huge because in healthcare we don't have a lot of finances just to throw out there willy nilly. So I want to go into that a little bit right after this before we go into oral pathology in general. The path, the journey to get there. But so we got to go into Machu Picchu. I also want to hear about. Let's just go right into this. During COVID, you said you were doing a lot of research so you could plan out your next trips.
Yeah.
Give us, if you can, get everyone listening, me, myself, because I'm looking to travel as well. 1 through, say, 5 that you were researching, you were looking into. You know what I mean? Like, let's cut to the chase. What put you in the top 3 places, really? As soon as COVID ends, I got to go here, here, and here. Why?
I don't know if I had a top. It was like a kind of everything. I have places that are on the top of the list that I don't have immediate plans to go to. Thailand and Cambodia are like very much at the top of the list.
We just mentioned Thailand, and you're like, no.
Yeah, absolutely. Thailand and Cambodia for sure. But I don't have any immediate plans. Northern Lights are big, and then Easter Island and Chile. Those are also kind of. I have a bunch. I just everything is like. I did a big one. I did Oktoberfest in Munich, which. Do once.
Why?
I didn't love Munich. So the thing is about Munich, is that most of when I go to Europe, I want old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things that were around before the colonists came to the United States.
Okay, so you're looking for historical.
I love history. I love history, culture, and identity of a place. And so that's what I look for when I go to Europe. The problem with Munich is the vast majority of the city was destroyed in World War II. I think, there was, I believe it's, I don't want to miscalculate, but I remember it being 85%, like 15% of the city is original. And the vast majority of that is one building, which is the city hall in the center, which is beautiful. But a lot of Munich is new construction.
I see.
Which is fine.
I see.
But it's not what I look forward to go to Europe. Oktoberfest was fun. I definitely would do it again. It is a little touristy and very crowded. To me, it was very similar to a state fair in the United States, my Midwest upbringing, where they have a bunch of like big pavilions, but instead of being filled with animals, it's just filled with tables and people and beer. They've got amusement park rides and booths, concessions. So
A lot of beer?
It's
Is it
definitely
like a
fun.
few, like a large quantity, like types of beer, or is it just like everything?
yeah. So they call them tents. These
Because you and I, we like to try new beers. We like to try a lot of different things, you know?
Yeah. So they call them tents, but they're like big pavilions. They're sponsored by specific brewers, and so you can only get the brewer-sponsored beer in the tent.
Okay.
So they might have options, but it's all one company. So it's all Spaten or
Polymer.
or that.
Warsteiner?
I don't remember. They've got like specific brewers. I knew them at one point in time, but I don't remember what their like 5 or 6 that are allowed to be there are.
Gotcha.
The ones I named are there, but I don't remember the whole list. Polliner, Hopbrow, Havershore. Those are the big ones. I enjoyed it, but the second half of that trip, which was the year before, was Prague, and I loved Prague. Prague is beautiful, beautiful, old city, very European, affordable, very affordable.
Really?
Food was good.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about this beer. What do we got here?
This
Let's
is
show off this can. Let's see this can. This is
super vivid. It's a relatively new one to me. I had it when I bought it, but I never had it before. And this uses a fruit. Additional.
do you, because I know some of the IPAs and doses, especially, dose into that.
The last one might.
But the first two were just
Yeah. I don't think it has like those. That was very popular. It's fun.
good.
The big trend right now is beers. There's big, it started with mocktails. People, so mocktails have become popular. Within the last year or two, they were really trendy. And beer caught on a little bit later to that, where any beers that taste good, as opposed to putting on blast. I grew up, my dad would so. No.
Oh, wait, lactose went into any beers and then came.
So everything, beer goes through a lot of fads, like anything. So the hazy IPA, which is this, was very popular maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I don't pretend to be a beer expert. I just have an interest. So I would not take this as gospel. But, the hazy IPA, which is popular 6 years ago, which led into fruit adjuncts, which we have here, and led into the lactose addition to it, which created a milkshake smoothie type of feel, both in IPAs and in sours. And it seems lagers have a little bit of a moment. Now it seems like there's a trend where people that are choosing to be sober can have something that tastes good.
I saw these. The can art is fantastic. It's like a short can with very mellow colors. I think it's called like Athlete or Athleta or something. You've seen them, right? They look good. Haven't had one yet. Have you tried one? Or?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, it tastes like an IPA, but it's NA.
So it's just
yeah.
Okay. I just looked. None of them say that they have. Cheers, by the way. I don't know if we've done the first one, but thanks for coming in. This is huge. This is awesome. First in-person podcast. We're in here. This is great. I think we're good. I am lactose intolerant as of now. Getting better. What happened was, this was during COVID. I had a massive sty on my left eye. Sty on my eye after eating a pie. But basically, interview season was coming up. It was like in interview season or whatever the hell it was, and like I could barely open my eye. It was that bad. It was like sticking out an inch in my face. I couldn't open my eye. I went to the doctor where they gave me doxycycline, and it cleaned my gut out within 2 weeks. So prior to that, working out, college, whatnot, I was drinking a gallon of milk every 2 3 days, right? Because I didn't really like.
So you're not supposed to mix doxycycline and calcium.
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what I was drinking during the time, but prior, I didn't like to take protein powder. After a while, like my liver enzymes were high, and no, it was not from drinking. It was from the protein powder because I don't drink all the time. But didn't used to drink all the time. Now it's no, okay, just wicked, just wicked. No, but basically, I stopped drinking protein powder. I would just chug milk, like it was, I would go through a gallon of milk in 2 3 days. Within 2 weeks after having the doxycycline, I couldn't drink milk.
Yeah.
I was getting stomach cramps, pains, more than more than just once a month. But no, it was just ridiculous. And since then, it's been over 3 years now. My stomach running to the bathroom, just like for hours, needing to run like once an hour to go. It's been a nightmare. It's actually been a nightmare. And most of my diet was dairy involved products. I mean, cheese. It was like it was protein. It was milk. It was cream cheese. I can't have like, my favorite bagel anymore. But so that's why I always look at these, especially IPAs and dosés for the lactose. But
So I prescribe a lot of doxycycline at 20 milligrams, so it's submicrobial. It doesn't kill bacteria. Instead, it acts as a matrix metalloproteinase inhibitor. It works against inflammation and tissue destruction. I use it a lot as an adjunct in my treatment of lichen planus and pemphigoid. And I usually tell my patients, especially those that are osteoporotic, that they have to be careful with their calcium supplement. And what happens is that calcium and doxycycline bind together, and so both can be utilized. And so that given the reaction in addition to that's a really doxycycline is it doesn't hurt you, but it does bind the medication so that you're not using the medication, using it as opposed to being absorbed.
interesting. Yeah, there was another antibiotic. It was like some, it was fluoroquinolone. That was just a drug. I don't know. Yeah, since then, cleared out my gut, but but I wanted to hear about.
Yeah. So Peru started for a day in Lima, and then went to Arequipa. Arequipa is the second largest city in Peru. It is home to 3 volcanoes, which are active, and it's beautiful. It's called the White City. They use a lot of what's called silar, which is volcanic rock. And I actually made a friend in Munich at Oktoberfest who was Peruvian, and went to visit her. And she actually came to Anguilla. Visited her in Peru. She's from, so she was with me the whole trip. And so, family, we went to Cusco, and then did the trip in Lima. And yeah, we currently in a long distance relationship. So, shout out to
We were talking that before you went. This is before you went to Turkey. Yeah. We were talking about this. Congratulations! I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's new.
From then,
well, we kind of talked about it in Lima at the end of the trip. I always kind of had feels, but I think it progressed for her, and so in Lima, things got a little bit more serious. She was working remote, so she actually came here for a month and was working remote.
no longer,
and now
it was
longer. So they were kind of hinting at coming back to the office. She went back to Peru, and then within a week they said, all right, next week everyone's back in the office, which really sucked because she was living at home in Arequipa with her family for free. Yeah. And then she had a week to kind of scramble to find a place to live in Lima. We have to hang out for New Year's. And she's coming as well. I'll probably go back to Peru in February as well. But her end goal is and so she currently works for a company called IPA, which is essentially similar to Dick's Sporting Goods. She does a lot. She's an engineer. I always say what she does, but she is like a brand manager within. So she does a lot of ordering, projections, and logistics, and things like that for certain brands within. It's an She was always interested in getting her MBA. She's fluent in English, Italian, German, and obviously Spanish, and knows a little bit of Japanese. So she always kind of very impressive. She always wanted to go to MBA, and she wanted to do it either in Europe or the US. And I think that because of circumstances, she's doing
Fantastic. She's got to throw that on the resume. She's got to contact Harvard. She's got to contact Columbia, Yale. Oh, that'd be so great if she could come to the States. Do you think you'd maybe move around her a little bit? You know, to UNE?
Well, we'll see. I think for now, I think a lot of the programs that she's interested in are in the area, both New York and New England. Ultimately, it's kind of decisive, and she's figuring it.
She may feel it.
Yeah. Her mom and her sister prior to becoming official is and when she was here, she met my family.
While she was still remote. You know, that's. I wish, growing up that we knew about this remote option in some jobs. And I know it's becoming less and less. I think as we go forward, higher up executive administrative positions are going to go more and more remote.
What I really want. I mean, there's a push towards digital microscopy. And so you could theoretically read slides from home on a computer, but patient care, I think, even for, and you do, you're procedure based, but even from a diagnostic lens, I think it's very, very difficult.
Very difficult.
For, on YouTube, I get a lot of emails or comments asking me to tell. Not only am I not licensed for this, the issue is too is that it's a picture and seeing something in person and feeling it, getting a comprehensive history is just very different. So it's possible at some point.
Can't do a head, neck, or control exam.
Some pictures are really great. And you can get a good sense of what's going on. So it's I think it's
very, very difficult. Let's go into the route. Oral maxillofacial pathology. So, you went to undergrad at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And then 4 years there. What did you major? Biology. After then, you went to Ohio State.
Yep.
That's 4 years, obviously, right? How did you like school it?
Loved undergrad, hated it. to be transparent.
Yeah. What'd you think? So, dental school to residency.
Yeah.
What'd you think of residency?
Oh, I wish I could have been a resident forever. I loved being a resident.
More than undergrad?
I don't know. I feel like undergrad, especially at Ohio State, there was a lot of encouragement of self-discovery. Like,
really?
What do you like? What are your values? A lot of trying new things, learning new things, which I really like.
Mm.
But, I mean, residency was different because, it's focused on something that you're very interested in. It's very honed in. So it's hard. It's apples and oranges. Dental school, let me clarify, it has nothing to do with Ohio State. More with my feeling about me and dentistry.
Mm.
Dentistry is very important. The world needs good general dentists. I am not one of them.
Not a general dentist.
I would not be a good general dentist.
What do you mean? Well,
I just did not like, you know, doing cavity preps and crown preps and temporaries and removable, and that's very important. The world needs people that are good at that and that enjoy doing that. That's not one of those people.
But you found your niche, you know?
Very much, very much.
That's what matters.
I really like what I do.
And that's what's cool about, you know, these certain professions. I mean, let's take dentistry since we're both in there, we're talking about it. But, you know, you could go into dentistry and the dental school can look very frightening. And it can be very frightening. And at times, there are going to be a lot of lows throughout dental school. There are a lot of highs throughout dental school, you know, and the academics fluctuate. The social aspect of dental school, I mean, it is very competitive, unfortunately. But I think the fact is that you really need to go at what's most important. Your career is going to be 30 to 40 years of your life, and that's a long time. Dental school's 4 years. There's so many specialties. And I know several people in oral pathology, many in oral surgery, and other orthodontics, I could go on. But the fact is that there's so many options out there that they couple well with different personalities, different interests. Whatever motivates you and excites you, there is something there. I strongly believe that with all my heart. And I think people need to take the time to and really focus on, while you're in dental school, it's not just getting by, GPA, ranking. It's learning the material, but learning what you connect with in the profession most to serve people, to treat people, to learn with others, to network. Like, we're in different, you're in oral pathology and oral surgery, but we're hanging out over a beer, you know? I think that's what it's all about, and I don't think dental school portrays that enough. I really don't think they do. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
So, I don't know. I feel like my experience might be a little bit different because there were so many different specialty programs at Ohio State, where I felt like
there were Stony Brook too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just felt like, you know, there was a lot of encouragement of exploration of like what you want to do. Granted, you know, some things were reserved for residents in that program, but at the same time, I felt, or my experience was that people were encouraged to try and explore. And I know that I was really given a lot of access to mentorship in oral pathology when I was there.
That's excellent. There is a lot of oral pathology at Stony Brook as well. I guess just kind of like there's more of a push of what, and it is good. You need to explore what you want to do, but I think there's a level of self-awareness in saying, this is what I want to do, but this is what I'm good at, and I like that too. And I think that what I mean is that what you want to do, and it gets very cutthroat because you might be designed for it. Your personality is, it could definitely be explored and encouraged to have a more organic pathway through dental school in one way or another. But no, it's good. So let's get into oral pathology. There's not a preliminary exam.
No.
So how do you go?
Well, so I can't speak to that for every program. I don't think ADAT is used in any program, but I know that there was talk of certain oral pathology programs that were going to do ADAT. I don't think that is the case currently.
So literally just on the question yesterday, on my Q&A story, they were like, did you take the ADAT? I didn't.
No, ADAT was experimental. It was like the first. So no one was using it. It was just a take it if you want.
Yeah.
No score. I just got a question from someone applying to a certain asking me about an entrance exam that apparently they had to take at their interview, which I did not experience, nor have I heard be the case for certain programs. Maybe one.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what do they typically, residency programs, what do they typically look at a dental student say, you're fit for this, we want you, we don't want you? That's also, red flags versus green flags.
The most powerful part of an application in oral pathology is the letter recommendation. Like I said, oral pathology is such a small profession that we know everybody. So if we get a strong recommendation from someone that we know and trust, that speaks a lot. does the oral pathologist, is this oral pathologist writing a form letter, or are they like specifically endorsing this candidate? I think that's really important.
Of course.
And not only that, but it would not be out of ordinary to call the oral pathologist at dental school if you know this person. Red flag, we've seen this recently, is getting an application in January or February for someone with a resume full of a different specialty. So I didn't match into oral surgery. I didn't match into ortho. I didn't match into pros.
January, February?
We take rolling admissions, so you can apply whenever. And a late application is not a red flag. I want to clarify that. A late application isn't a red flag. The red flag is when we look at the resume, and this is just me. This is not, I'm not speaking for my program. I'm not speaking for the profession. I'm speaking for
I like this. Yeah.
if someone submits a resume and it's research, let's say entirely in endo, and it comes after endo match, what that says to me is you don't want to be a general dentist. You didn't match into endo, so oral pathology is your second choice. And that is okay. I mean, that person might be a really good oral pathologist, but it is a little bit, if there's no oral pathology experience on the resume as well, and it's all geared towards endo, oral surgery costs, then that's a little bit concerning, because are you actually interested in the profession? That's, I think, at least for me, what is most important to someone that wants to get into the profession is, did they actually explore it? Do they know what they're getting into? And are they actually interested?
What are you looking for on a resume to say that this person has oral pathology experience?
Again, I am speaking entirely for me. I'm not speaking for where I work. I'm not speaking for any other oral pathologist. For me, I think what's really important is shadowing. I mean, I'm not necessarily concerned. Research projects are great. That's great. But I come from a very clinical bent. The program where I work is very clinically oriented. And so to me, it's just shadowing. Did you have proper exposure? Did you spend time at the microscope? Did you ask questions of the oral pathologist? Do they know you? Does the oral pathologist know you? If they do, then that's a good sign.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Shadowing. Who are some of the faculty that wrote your letters of recommendation at Ohio State that you feel that it's like that name pops up, or maybe that didn't write your letter of recommendation from Ohio State? Their name pops up and you're like, okay, I got to read this letter of rec. I trust them.
Any. I mean, again, with 250 oral pathologists in the United States, we have an expectation of who we need to hear from. When a student applies from a certain school, they should have a letter. In my opinion, they should have a letter of recommendation from the oral pathologist when they went to school.
Right. If you were to put the top 5 things, or 3 things, and you touched on this a lot, I know, but just let's define it. Top 3 things applying to oral pathology. What are the top 3 things that you look at in an applicant? And I know you mentioned this already, but just to kind of summarize it for applicants, right, so that they can check these things off the list and make sure that they're in a good spot. Dental school is very stressful. There's a lot of uncertainty. You want to know that you're going to be happy in your career, happy one day for some, right, through dental school. You know what I mean? If we could summarize it, the application process.
Yeah, genuine interest, and being able to express genuine interest in the profession.
Personal statements, letter of recommendation, shadowing, like you said.
Sure. Yeah. Well, number 2 would be relevant experience.
Yeah.
So, did you shadow at all? Did you shadow at the microscope? Did you shadow in a clinical practice? That's relevant. A lot of residency is sitting at a microscope. A lot of it is starting from scratch in histology, diagnosis. If you're not interested in that, you're going to hate your life for 3 years. So do you actually sit in a microscope? This is something.
It's funny to mention that, because someone who applied to oral surgery, this is someone applying to oral surgery, vastly different from oral pathology, right? One is doing on call, taking a lot, doing the surgery, but even more than that, through residency, taking a lot of call, doing a lot of tasks, playing in the OR, rounding very early hours, very late out. I could go on, right? Oral pathology, a lot of seeing the microscope, more of like there is clinical, but there's also a very research oriented side of it, right?
Not necessarily research. So
Research, okay.
certain programs, yes. Certain programs will expect you to compose a master's thesis. How deep into that master's thesis varies from program to program.
I guess
our program
is the pathological side.
Right. But that's diagnosis. That's not necessarily research.
I meant.
Right. So, our program, we're trying to introduce maybe a little bit more of the research and looking at research projects, but the focus on our program is clinical, both in patients and under the microscope.
So someone didn't do any research. You're not counting them out. They show 100%.
Me personally, no. Is it an added benefit? Yes. But it is not. It doesn't make the top 3. But if someone has research projects in oral pathology, then that's
okay.
The third and final thing is personality. I think that it's not necessarily like a personality contest, but different programs have different cultures. And so, are you a team player? Will you get along
with the bad girls?
But will you get along with? Are you going to buy into the philosophy of the program? Are you going to participate? That to me is also important. I think it goes both ways too. I think what I really liked about my program is that the program director really valued our priorities and we were not cogs in a machine. We were people, which is nice.
I love that.
And I think that he is really interested in making sure that if people come, my perception is that he's interested that people that come to our program want to be there because it's 3 years and you want to be happy those 3 years.
3 years is a long time.
It is.
It's less than dental school. It's a long time. You gotta be happy. You gotta be excited about what you're doing, motivated, waking up to do what you want to do every morning. It's exactly what you said. That you can't fake this resume. You can't not get into endo and say, only admissions. Let's see. It's 3 years in your career.
The thing is too is that be very leery of a program, any program. I did not have this experience during my application cycle. I was very fortunate that I had very supportive program directors at multiple programs. But I've heard stories of people that are told, you need to make a decision today. I'd be very wary of that. One thing that I really valued in my experience was that everywhere I interviewed said, yes, please interview other places. Because a good program director wants a happy resident. A happy resident is someone that wants to be there.
Yes.
So by encouraging someone to apply multiple places, see multiple programs, see where they want to fit, what they think fits into their goals and into their personality, I think is most important. I think that's really important.
Oh, absolutely. That's horrifying to hear that a program will say you need to decide today.
I did not experience that.
Yeah.
I don't know that is a real thing. I've heard, again, whether or not that's true is up for debate. But I have heard stories from people that is what happened.
Because what could they possibly? And I've heard similar instances telling people, you're the number one pick, this and that. That is a bit separate. But putting a dental student on the spot to become a resident at your program, in the spot saying you need to decide today whether you want to come here or not. What are you benefiting?
Maybe not today, but rapidly, within the next 2 days or something like that.
Okay, now are we talking about November, December, January? Or are we talking February, March, April? You know what I mean? Because that's
early.
Yeah, you know what I mean? What are you gaining from that? What is the resident thinking of it? How is that going to be an organic decision?
As an applicant, and I'll say that, you're nervous that you're not going to get a spot. And what if someplace that you want to go isn't going to accept you, but you have this for sure thing?
Exactly, it's not organic. You're using fear to gain leverage. That's inappropriate.
But I have heard that it happens. What does the program gain? A guaranteed resident. The problem is, it's not unusual that it is unusual. Let me rephrase. So, an unhappy resident might not finish the program. So that's something to
You got
consider.
a spot now, you might not in a
Right.
year and a half. I hear you.
But that being said, if you are interested in oral pathology and it's a late decision, a March-April application is not out of the cards. Yeah. It might, you might not have a spot, or you might. It is a luck thing to some extent, but a lot of people say, "Oh, you know what? I might do a GPR or an AGD for a year because I missed my opportunity," and that might not be the case. I know that happened with someone that came in as the first year when I was chief. That they didn't think they thought they were done because it was January. They were applying and getting a spot, so they didn't have to do a GPR or AGD. They were going.
I like that. We didn't do a GPR, AGD.
That being said, all of the residents did either do a GPR test.
Really?
Yeah. My co-resident was for a year or two.
Have you seen any difference between students going down pathology versus working? No. It's just, is it a trend? It's not something you identify and look for?
Because you can be genuinely interested and discover chemistry.
Yeah.
You could be chemistry. People always wanted to do this. Circumstances weren't right, but do it. That doesn't.
Two side notes not related to anything. The first one, it was a little stronger than the IPA sense.
This is not free forward.
Yeah.
Your language like the last one.
No. It's not that I didn't like it. It's not that I didn't like it. The first one was just like this is aroma to it. This was here's the fun thing. The first one at 8.2%. This is 8.5. I mean, it's negligible. It's 0.3%. I felt like this one was easier to drink than the last one. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the last one. But I want to touch on the beer. So you're right. I really like how, well, one, the color. But I like how, so when I grow out my dome fascia, mine's bad. It doesn't fill out in certain areas. So it looks like I just got like this goatee hanging on, and I'm like trying to fill it. It doesn't fill in. Yours is nicely filled between the neck, the cheeks, to the goatee area, the burns.
Yeah.
It's great. Do you think you're going to keep it? You're going to grow out more?
So this was, honestly,
during no shave November.
Yeah. Well, this was before. This kind of came from Peru. I was gone for 2 weeks. It grew out. I don't typically shave on vacation.
Okay.
And
fair enough. And when was Peru? Give me the dates.
August. Second and third week of August.
So second or third week, mid August.
Yeah.
We're in the first week of December right now. September, October, November. We're talking almost 4 months. It's like 3.5 months, right? All right. So it's quite full. Okay.
Well, I trim it. Happy wife, happy life, but happy girlfriend, happy life. She doesn't mind it. She likes it. So that's.
She likes it.
The other thing too is that I like it. As a young practitioner, I got a lot of comments on you look like you're too young to be a doctor, or how old are you? And I feel like the beard ages me a little bit.
So you're getting young still.
I have not gotten that as much. I like it. I think that I think it works.
What comment have you gotten that has pissed you off? Yeah, I got some comments. We all get comments. We treat how many patients a day.
One thing that doesn't necessarily make me mad, but I think is interesting, is that people come to me for my opinion based on my understanding of evidence and my experience. And people will say, well, this provider said this. And it doesn't make me mad because they're trying to figure out what truth is. And truth is a little gray, and nothing medicine is 100%, right? We're always learning new things. Some things work for some people, some other things work for others. But the difficulty I have with that is, well, if you don't trust my opinion, then why do you continue to ask for it?
Yeah.
It's okay that you don't want my opinion. That's fine. That's your prerogative. I'm only here to provide what I know and my evidence-based reasoning. But if you trust a different provider more than me, then I would recommend pursuing your treatment goals with them because they align with what you want and what you believe. So it's not, it doesn't make me mad, but it's more of a confusion. It's like I can't tell you what you want to hear. I can only tell you my interpretation of what's going on based on what I see, what I know, and what evidence has told me.
Objective,
is
rather than
the
subjective.
gold standard in the field. And if you don't like it, then I recommend pursuing a different opinion. And there's nothing wrong with a second or third opinion. But the thing is I can't validate an opinion that I don't believe to be true.
Right.
And so that's something that it doesn't happen often, but can happen. That it's something that is difficult for me because it's like it puts me in a tough spot because I want to be cordial. I want to be professional. I don't want to talk poorly about a different provider because different
It's about provider, not necessarily a patient.
No, the patient is relaying.
Yeah.
And the patient may be relaying wrong information or the information that they interpret, not wrong, but it's telephone.
It's
right?
always a telephone.
Exactly. They're interpreting information that they received and they...
Just yesterday, someone said, oh yeah, the oral surgeon took out the tooth, this and that. I found out today it was a periodontist. That has nothing to do with oral surgeon versus periodontist. The fact is that they're two very differently trained clinicians. Exactly. I know. Gave a telephone every time.
Oh, and it's one of those things where I get very confused because you're soliciting my opinion again. It hasn't changed. And my opinion can change. I'm open to new ideas, new concepts, new innovation. But that can be very difficult. That's something that's very difficult. Why are you telling me this, but somebody else is telling me something else? And that's fair. Different providers might tell you different things. It doesn't make me right, them wrong. Doesn't make them right, me wrong. It's two different opinions.
It's professional opinions. There's a thing called getting a second opinion. This is very normal. It's very natural to do, and it's a good idea. But it's tough. I know what you mean. It's tough at times.
So that's probably the biggest thing that is difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult. You want to? I'll figure the glasses real quick. So we got, what is it? We got a month and a half, right around, I don't remember the date exactly offhand, the trivia, next trivia night. Yeah. It's up. This is your glass. I'll put it back right here. All right, I'm putting this double bock away. Oh, it's just such a beauty. Color bronze, 8.2% alcohol. Yeah, no, we'll make that fun. Chocolate Munich Pilsner. Through with grains. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So check this out. Beautiful. We're not gonna have that one today. We had the 3 incredibly tasty IPAs. This will be another day. See, this will be another day. All right. Next thought. What do you think of the apartment? It's nice. Small. I know. I'm lucky though. So many windows. Yeah, a lot of views. There's a little fitness center. Small. I mean, it's got 1 treadmill. It's got 2 bench presses. No barbells. No squat racks. It does have dumbbells at the 50. Like 1 bike. It's got stuff, Yeah. I don't have a gym membership. I haven't for like 3 years, but it has the stuff that you need. It's got the laundry in the building. It's got a nice little terrace that I can look out on. Just put up the lights 2 days ago. That's it. Make it a little festive. All right, last one. What do we got? So it's about 120, 125 now.
Sorbet.
Huh? Sorbet. Yeah, looks like we had a bit of... Okay. Well, now we know for the next time, right? We got it looks like the back is lighter than the foreground. I guess that's expected. I was thinking, oh, it's not a sunny day. There's a lot. I mean, it's raining outside. It's cloudy. I put on all the lights in here. Yeah, it's nighttime. It'll have to be nighttime. That did nothing. Okay. Yeah, a lot of plants. I don't know. I've been told I'm like weirdly organized.
Most of the things is weirdly organized.
Yeah.
I know. Organized is not weird. That's like
Exactly. That's exactly what I find things. I'm like, well, where is it? Well, I always put it here. Where else could it possibly be? And you go to that spot, there it is. You know. All right. Tell me about this.
This is going to taste like a smoothie.
American IPA. Okay. So water, malt, hops, yeast, and a blend of dry guava powder and fresh guava puree. Okay. This is awesome. Oh. Oh, wow. This one might be my favorite one.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
You said you like this one. I thought you said the first one was your favorite.
No. So favorite base. So you have a base beer, and then they can add something called adjuncts, which are additional things. People add weird adjuncts. The adjuncts to this are the guava powder, guava pure.
Oh,
so it's not a base beer because it's not just beer. It's beer plus guava powder, guava puree.
Yeah.
So the juice machine is base beer. There's water, hops, barley, yeast. Nothing else in it.
Oh, I see.
The other two have additional things.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is delicious. Yeah. This is gonna go quick. And this one is 6.8. It looks like. Okay, so you went 8.2 to 8.5 to 6.8.
The way that you don't, when you structure a beer tasting, ABV is only one part. You also want to think about intensity of flavor. So if we had, in a different order, like you would never have a stout or a doppelbock before an IPA because you're not going to appreciate everything that the IPA has to offer. So you want to save the more complex flavor profile to the end, a little bit towards the end. It's a little bit of a nuanced thing. ABV is a part of it. Style is a part of it. Mouthfeel is a part of it. So this is the thickest mouthfeel, the boldest flavor. If we had this mango, we wouldn't have been able to taste anything else because we would have had mango for the other two beers. So that's why you want to save that for last because it has the most intense flavors to it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite?
I'll go with this one. Hands down.
Yeah, I gotta say this is delicious.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Yeah. Also, there's something to be said about saving the best for last.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that. Always save the best for last. Whether it's food at Thanksgiving last week, 2 weeks ago. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good.
Where were you?
I went back home to Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Girlfriend, stay Peru.
Yeah. So she, no immediate plans to come back yet, but hopefully maybe next summer we'll see. I have another friend that's long distance, and one thing that she said is it's kind of nice because you can pick places to travel to meet.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Also, credit card points aren't great in Peru. It's American credit card points are matched in the world, so it's a little bit easier for me to the mobility to do that. The issue is I have less vacation. So I get 6.25 every 2 weeks, and 7.5 is a day. So it ends up being around 20, just
20 days.
Yeah, just very nice.
Tough. 20 days a year, so 9
rolls up.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you have anything wrong? Well, you had so many trips this year.
Yeah. So Cartagena is no days. Flying Friday night and then leaving Monday. You're staying. But it's 1 day. So I'm taking my to travel down. a road trip planned with my sister. 2 weeks. That's the big one. Trip to the Netherlands. That's the last of it. So that's one. Possibly taking advantage of one. What's next is that a few flights where using points is $10. Why? It's a lot easier for me to get that. Now, granted, I keep saying these prices, but
$70 to Peru.
yeah, but use points. So it's $7 plus points. So there is inherent value to points, and yes, you do have to spend money to get to those points. But if you can parlay, as long as you're not spending outside of your means and you're outside of your need and maximize your gain, then it's essentially free travel. So
That's great. It's $70 to Peru. Points involved. I definitely want to go into. We talked about months ago. What is so? That's $70. That's the price. What about the time? Because you said some weekend trips to Peru. How does that kind of affect?
yeah.
Like you're
So I'm looking at long
Saturday and leaving Sunday.
Correct. No. Looking at long weekends. Taking
Okay.
long.
There's a flight from there.
Depends if you can find a direct. A lot of ones you can't.
That's got to be difficult. $7. Not too bad. Do you like leaving the mornings, nights, afternoon?
I prefer to leave direct.
So that would be nice if you finish work on Friday and then you get to the airport.
And that's what I'm doing.
The Friday or off Friday, Monday.
Or I travel Friday.
Yeah, and then you get the weekend there. Everyone's off. Parties going on throughout the place. Beer. It's open on the weekend. That's a really good point. I'm sure we were alive. In residency, we were told that you really only, at least here, you really only have to take off like say, take off 7 days at a time.
And you can do all 7 days.
You can, but
Two,
it's like
2 weeks is a long. And I feel very guilty.
7 days. That could be 2 long weekend trips.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, 7 days total. 7 days total?
No. We get wow.
7 days at a time.
7 days at a time.
Okay.
They say we get 3 to 4 weeks off a year, but I mean, with short staff and so on. But yeah, they say take 7 days off at a time.
To be honest, I feel very guilty taking 2 weeks. And it could be a little bit of imposter syndrome, but I think that like after 2 weeks, I make a point of being available.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens with this road trip. I'm a little nervous, but I take my laptop with me on vacation. It's 2 weeks, and I don't want to be the provider that's unreachable. So I have no problem with returning emails or with sending a prescription when I'm on a trip.
Okay.
I don't want to be the provider. I yes, there's work-life balance, but at this point in time, answering emails and sending in prescriptions for refills is not taking away from my vacation.
Oh, it's connected. So I see what you're saying, but then connected on the hourly level, on the day level.
My emails go to my phone. My emails go to my phone. So I can triage that. I can't do prescriptions to do it on VPN. But I can at least reply. Oh, the nice thing about my work is that there really aren't any true emergencies. The ones that are, usually no. So it's usually close by to complications. So what ticks. And then also, there are very few true emergencies. Yes and no. So in our program, they can try it was very easy to send. Oh, so I have no or occasionally trying to do excuse before a big trip. It's a lot different. We usually will try to if it's not elective, if it's more urgent, or you have cancer, do it. All the results of the patient. That's
Yeah. You can see all. Yeah. You can,
yeah. And I really do want to be the patients feel like because I don't want them to go days of response. So every patient gets one. So that they can do.
That's right. In a way, you can disconnect from the email fairly easily, I think, and then you could be accessible. And the notification, you have the notification pop up on your phone if you need to.
I can triage it. I know it's urgent.
Right.
So I know what to wait until.
Yeah. You said, assuming you could be a little weary, but if you triage it, you know what to expect. You prep the residents that are working with you. It's doable. It's doable. It's going to be with your mom. Sure.
No, road trip with sister mom is
Right. Mom's name is on it.
which is the two.
Familiar with. I'm so.
Everybody has hobbies, and I really enjoy traveling.
That's what I too. That's what I don't to not know places.
Yeah.
And that's why it was helpful when you said like you kind of divided up. I mean, Turkey. You were talking about Taiwan. You were talking about
I didn't go to Taiwan. My boss.
No, you wanted to go. You want to go to Taiwan.
Thailand and Cambodia. Taiwan's great.
Thailand and
Well,
Cambodia.
Thailand and Cambodia.
Okay. And anytime in the near future.
We'll see. So with Paula, her birthday is in December, so we're talking about next December possibilities. Next year's supposed to be very good for Northern Lights, so we might do a Northern Light trip.
Where's the best place to go for Northern Lights?
I don't know.
I've heard
Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland are all
Alaska,
pretty reliable. Alaska, Canada. There's a lot of places that you can see it.
Have you been to Iceland?
I have not. I'm not a big cold person, but for Northern Lights I would be. And Pal's from Peru, where it's cold, but it's not cold.
Right.
It's not
PAU?
Pal, yeah.
Oh, Paula. There's a Paula. I mean, they're different, but oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, apparently the Icelandic journey is very.
I'm leaning more toward
couples. Okay.
So I got a Norway, but we'll see. The other alternative, Cambodia, which I think I'm more interested. We'll see.
Exciting. That'll be exciting.
I'm saving time and points for that trip next December. So we'll see. I always try to do everything 6 months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
My philosophy is that the vast majority of patients 6 months in advance. At most.
Yeah.
So somewhere 3 to 4. The kind of longest is 6. Yes, occasionally I have annual follow-ups, but a lot of 6 month follow-ups. So if I book at least 6 months in advance, I'm not if I can block it off, then it prevents patients from having a schedule. So that's something that I'm just looking at. Trips is that I'm always trying to plan 6 months in advance.
Yeah, and it's gonna be Residency is a different experience, though. It's really tough to plan things. It's really tough to take off. I had 2 or 3 vacation days where, like, months in advance, like, I got to take this off. I got a wedding, and it's been taken away from me. That happened July, August, and in March of last year.
But one thing to consider is if you are a sole proprietor, then when you close, your business closes. And certain associate roles too,
like a private practice.
Right.
Yeah.
And certain associate positions too, if you're only based on collection or production, you take time off, you're not making money.
You're not making money.
I'm very fortunate that I have a vacation. So it's something to consider too when you get out for jobs. If that's something that is a priority, and granted, different people have different priorities. Some people don't really care about travel. For instance, my dad has absolutely no interest
in travel.
In travel, no.
Is he back?
It's not like it's not like airplanes. I think he has gotten a little bit more into it. My mom took a trip to Hawaii, which he really enjoyed.
Oh,
they're looking at Italy, so he's getting a little bit more into it. But he has like no interest in going to Turkey, no interest in going to Netherlands, which is fine. But if travel's a priority and you want that as part of your work-life balance, it's something to consider when you start looking for jobs. Is your vacation paid vacation? How much is it? Does it roll over? Things like that.
Something I've been looking into. I started looking back in June. I know it's like a year early. Most residents, they start looking in chief right when they start chief year. I wanted to start looking a year early because I know I'm a very atypical resident and hopefully future oral surgeon as well. But I really don't want to work weekends. I'm so sad. I worked yesterday. I just got out at 9 o'clock today. I'm a third-year resident going into fourth year, and I just worked a Saturday on primary call. There's secondary call and tertiary call, like not even on those yet. As a third-year resident, so a big priority for me is just to not work. I don't want to work weekends anymore. I don't. Now, call is another thing because there's call for the hospital and then call for the practice. Call for the practice is this is your thing. If you are an owner of the practice, part owner, partner, etc. No, you got like this is your thing, right? Someone's got to be there if an emergency comes up. And then there's hospital call. Hospital call. I know there are a lot of hospitals. They're not even paying oral surgeons or other dentists, if you will. Like dentists, I don't know, but there are a lot of oral surgeons working in hospitals on call. They don't even get paid. They're like, we're going to give you hospital access. Right. I mean, how often are you using that hospital access, though? And you're going there. It depends on how often you're going for call.
But if you're using the hospital for your orthodontic cases and you're charging for service for orthodontic and you have to take call once a month, I mean,
once a month
it's a cost benefit. It's a cost benefit.
Once a month is not that bad. But it is something. It's bad. Residency call is the worst call out there. And, I mean, orthodontics, how often are you doing orthodontics? Once a month. Yeah, it's all varied, right?
It depends on what you want to do. If you have no interest in working in an OR and you want to chuck whizzies all day, then you don't need hospital privileges and you shouldn't take hospital call. But if you want to do more complex stuff, where you want to do trauma, you want to do, and granted, I'm speaking as an oncologist, I'm not speaking as a surgeon. I mean, it's a cost benefit. You have to analyze what level of call is worth the ability to access an OR.
And also risk benefits. There are a lot of risks. Anything that's going through an OR, it's an OR for a reason. There's a lot of risk involved. I mean, we could go on and on about that. It's a different lifestyle. There's a level of lifestyle that I think you appreciate as well. There's like working to live and living to work. And I feel like in surgery, you're really getting tied into the medical aspect of healthcare. And in the medical aspect of healthcare, I feel, and I'm just generalizing this, a vast majority of it is like you're kind of living to work. And that's this is very general, I know, but
no. So because
versus
we act as primary care, a lot of our codes that we bill are similar to primary care, with the addition of being a consultant. Yeah, I get that. Patient care is very time intensive, and oftentimes the reimbursement rate for what we're doing is really poor. So a new patient, it's 30 to 45 minutes to see the patient. It is answering all the questions, dealing with the pharmacy, comprising a consult letter, sending the consult letter. And for that, we might get, it's probably about maybe 3 hours of work total. Might get $70, of which I only get a portion. But
where's the portion go?
The other portion? I'm going to employ.
Exactly. You only get a portion of that, so you're getting a portion of the $70. Yeah. So now there's the aspect of living to work, working to live. The working to live part. So I feel like we are both very heavily in the medical side of healthcare. Yeah. Right. We're coming from dentistry, now we're tossed in the medical side. In the medical side, I think there's a lot of living to work And now the corporate, I think, illusion has created more of a restricted hours, more regimented working hours and whatnot. However, in the corporate environment, there's a lot less reimbursement. So then you have to, there's just so many checks and balances that make it what it is. And now it's interesting because it's like now we're kind of fooled by like, well, look, it's a 9 to 5 and you get paid X amount after all these years of school, but X amount is maybe 50% you work in like what it used to be, or in some specialties, private practice. There's so many ways to look at it, but it's interesting. It's very. I think the politics, the administrative side of it is fascinating. I mean, you have these DSOs, obviously. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too far, but then you have these medical management, dental management organizations, corporations and such. And I mean, they're sent. If you're in private practice, roughly, give or take, 50% of it is overhead. But now they're saying we're going to take another 17.5%, and now you're only making 32.5%, but you were doing it off of just a 50% margin. And now it's like 17.5%.
But you don't have to worry about a lot of the administrative tasks.
Yes.
So my dad is an optometrist, has his own practice, and it's him. He's sole proprietor, and he is responsible for inventory, collections, insurance claims. Like, the buck stops with him, which is both positive and negative. But it's a lot of work outside of patient care, which he doesn't mind doing. That's something that he's always done.
He could totally hire someone in office to help with those.
He does. So, but at the end of the day, he's responsible for it. And I'm experiencing this a little bit too, where if you have someone delegated to pursue claims to make sure that there are collections on them, if you're an employee, you have no control over who is doing that. So,
and as a resident, you don't know what's getting billed. You don't know what's going out there. You don't know how much is getting collected.
You're straight salary. So that's a different.
So you're just going to get thrown out at 32 years old and expected to understand these things when it's like, we're being blinded by the fact that these other organizations, the corporation, the hospital, the residency program, whatever it may be, is like it. But then they're slowly phasing out your cut a little bit here. They're taking a bite out of your pizza pie a little bit more and more.
It's a little bit of building as you fly it. And I think that's a major criticism of any dental and medical education.
Yes.
That you don't talk about finances. And it certainly has been a learning experience for me as well. Collection, production, reimbursement, things like that.
Did you learn any of it during residency?
I had one attending that was very open about it, and I've tried to emulate that with residents. I'm very open about kind of the way that we operate. Not specifically, like I think it's a little inappropriate to talk specific numbers.
Yeah.
But about general frustrations and general positives. I think is important for residents to know.
It's so important.
One thing that's really frustrating is that people are unwilling to share their grand total, their overall salary, and I think that it's difficult to advocate for yourself if you don't know what industry is. So, not knowing what the work need, it's difficult to advocate for yourself. So you don't know if what you're taking is a fair deal, or if you're being personal, or if you're being selfish.
Yeah.
Being on both ends is not. If you are overpaid, then you are first in the chopping block, or you potentially could prevent anyone else from being paid. Because the expectation is that you are being paid this much, you should be able to handle it. And then the opposite is that. There's reasons that if you're underpaid, it's weird. What's your So I think that there is a sweet spot. It's difficult to do if you don't. But that's very rich. It seems like previous generations don't. because it's taboo. So
That makes sense, right?
and we're millennials, so we're like in the middle where we're caught between Gen Z, explaining religion,
And what's the yeah. Yeah, so oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point. How's the YouTube channel? You should podcast yet?
No, a lot of I am considering and doing more interview style videos. That's just going to be long form YouTube.
Wonderful. Yeah.
No podcast, just because it's relatively simple.
Just one step. If you're doing long form content, YouTube, you're doing short, and you're doing a little bit of long form, and bringing you along a little bit here. But it's literally just a conversion, or not even a conversion, but it's just a pop.
It's
a podcast too.
But it's like a form management issue. I just don't want to manage this. Like a TikTok and a YouTube.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I don't know if I agree with the management issue. It's literally just popping up on one. It's another 5 minutes to either convert or just drag the file even less. Copy and paste all the.
But then I start a new stuff. So I'm at a point where I consider myself relatively early, even though I've been doing it for 2 years. It's hard because I've got Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is
You would thrive on LinkedIn. It's B2B marketing. It's professional to professional. You're not getting patients necessarily through LinkedIn, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you are all like you know the side that you know diagnoses, you know cases, you have an abundance of cases. I think just real quick, I think LinkedIn would be your number one platform by a mile. By a mile.
the issue is the ability to monetize that.
Do you need to monetize it?
Yes.
Why?
My thought is if I'm putting time and energy into something, which a lot of my time and energy, admittedly, we're talking about live to work to live, work like balance.
Yes.
I would say that I'm not overly poor in my work-life balance, but it's not ideal. I am spending a little bit more time on my work. So if I'm adding in extra time towards work, I want to be compensated.
So you're considering all social media work.
Yes.
Same.
Yes. Because it is. Writing a script, filming a script, editing a script is work.
It is.
And,
that's the only work you do for you, though. Everything you do at the hospital, of course, is for the patients, but the hospital takes a big cut of that. So you're working for the hospital more than the patients.
The social media platforms take a cut of it too.
Yeah, but it's your brand. It's your face, it's your voice, it's your content, it's everything. Yeah.
So here's my future direction. I am planning to utilize social media more in my practice. Specifically, I just wrote a ton of scripts on common conditions. I plan on utilizing that to make my life easier on a patient practice standpoint. So I have scripts written for lichen planus, geographic tongue, varix, like things that I commonly see in practice, where I have a conversation with a patient. Understandably, only a portion of this percentage of that conversation is going to be fully taken in, right? When you're given a new concept, you're not going to understand it 100%. So a lot of times I'll get follow-up emails or I'll get additional questions. Part of patient education then would be giving them the ability to hear that again. And so by creating these videos, it's kind of twofold. One, providers like oral surgeons, periodontists, general dentists will have a understanding of what my conversation is for patients with these conditions, and they can use that for themselves and to educate themselves, and also for my patients.
Yes.
So you have lichen planus. I gave you a 10-minute spiel on lichen planus, but how much of that did you absorb?
Right.
Well, here's a card with a QR code. go watch my YouTube video with this exact same conversation later, so you can kind of rehear what I've already said.
Mm.
So that's my next big project, filming probably tomorrow.
Oh, really? Tomorrow?
I've got a few scripts ready to go. One that's more of like a regular script, based on argyrosis in an HBO Max documentary, where a cult leader was drinking colloidal silver and turned blue, which I found very weird.
Wow.
So I'm going to talk about argyrosis, which is silver intoxication, and then these new videos. And with YouTube, December is oftentimes, for most creators, the month where they receive the most monetization, because most organizations are running ads.
Mm.
So if I can get these all out in December, then hopefully that will help with monetization. Ultimately, kind of my goal, and granted it's not direct monetization, but I would like to do more CE speaking, because it's something I enjoy doing, and it's something that's relatively lucrative.
Oh, I see.
and it's something that
I expect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of it is just getting my name out, getting my ability out, the brand.
Yeah, networking, personality, absolutely. Yeah.
So I it's just, how do I kind of break into that a little bit?
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I really think you should consider LinkedIn.
The thing is, a lot of the current kind of quote unquote big names in CE and oral pathology come from more quote unquote traditional social media. So a good friend of mine, Ashley Briotti, shout out to her, Central Ohio Oral Pathology. She does a ton of CE, but she also kind of innovated Instagram for oral pathology. She has a huge Instagram following, and she puts out great content. And then another, yeah, she's great. Highly recommend. She's really good.
Ashley,
she's under Central Ohio Oral Pathology. She works with
regional
Allen.
under career-wise professionally, or like the Instagram page is also underneath.
The Instagram page is Central Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not her. It's Central Ohio.
No, but she is recognized as that.
Here we go.
That's her brand.
Oh, well, I mean, the title is Doctors Ashley Briotti and Carl Allen.
Yeah, Dr. Allen is a really, really big name.
Westerville, Ohio. I see.
Yeah, she's a great content.
45,000 followers. Oh my God, these are great clinical photos.
Yeah, she puts out good stuff. So she is a big CE speaker, and Dr. Ashley Clark is another one, and she's really active on Facebook. So you have the two Ashleys that do a lot of CE. There are other people in the profession. My friend.
How long has she been working? How long is Ashley Brody?
Oh, I think several years.
Several
years. So she was the chief resident when I was D4.
Okay.
Yeah. So she entered practice with Dr. Allen in private practice after graduation. There are plenty others. Dr. Islam, who's program director out of Florida, he does a lot of CE. Dr. Barlow, who's out of St. Louis, does a lot of CE. There's lots of people that do a lot of CE. But Dr. Doug Dam, who created CE programs, also a big name on the book. It's Neville Dam Allen Chi is the kind of oral pathology Bible. I just would like to do more, because it's something that I really enjoy doing. A lot to offer. Good skills.
These are interesting. It's very difficult. For example, because these are all clinical photos. I mean, I tried posting a few, and this is 2 years ago plus, and I since deleted them, I'm sure, but of like laceration repairs I've done or this and that, and the institution here didn't like that.
Yeah.
And like these, not even close. They would argue that, oh well, I can recognize that now.
Well, what's really interesting is when I started in my current position,
I recognize your left lateral incisor. Like, what? No, okay.
When I started at my current position, it was really encouraged to do social media,
as it should be.
Where the word that they used was thought leader, which I think is very interesting. Thought leader, where I'm not necessarily representing the organization. Everything is under my name. It's my opinion. I like this. And we really were encouraged strongly to do it. We're talking on behalf of organization, stuff. So that's been sort of focus, both on myself and the other who spoke about Schultz, who is very interesting. She's one of either 5 or 6 dual born in pediatric coordinators in the United States. So she's the so she does a lot of stuff. So it's just a whole new world. And initially, I think our senior partner was very resistant. I think he was a little bit nervous. But I think he has come to it. Really? Yeah. I think he himself is not interested, but I think he understands the importance that both himself.
No, it's so important. And coming from a different aspect, I don't monetize. I haven't tried to or thought about that. I don't really monetize content just from a personal standpoint. I do it for fun. I do to mentor, to spread education. Organic, personalized mentoring, organic, just content for educational mentoring purposes. And then, I don't know, from my standpoint, I do want to be. Let me clarify. We're creating fire right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's not just about education. Like I really like we're trying beers right now, but we're hanging out, we're trying beers, and we're talking about a lot of important sides of dentistry, oral pathology, healthcare in general, traveling. I've seen so much. It started in dental school and parts of undergrad where in the healthcare they're so focused academically. There's no time for fun.
Yeah.
You need to enjoy what you do.
Well, I mean, part of monetization is only one part. So a big thing about my motivation for YouTube is that the information was not readily available on that platform. And I think that there is a little bit of a difficulty with clinical oral pathology because there aren't many of us that are doing clinical practice. So,
and then of those few, how many of them are actually putting out content for the world to see, read, and learn about?
For me, it's more of knowledge. So, people that live in a rural, underserved area that don't have easy access to a specialist might have access to that information. Same thing with providers in those areas. So I do think that it is an additional way to educate, just like Ashley does on Instagram. So monetization is a part of it. I do expect that if I am spending time on something where I'm providing expertise that I get compensated for that. Granted, YouTube, I mean, to be transparent, this year I made around $250. So it's not gangbusters. I also, a big part of it is that there is a little bit of a difficulty to access that expertise and that knowledge. And by providing this new platform that wasn't and to some extent isn't being done, I wanted to be able to make that information available to a new audience. And granted, my YouTube is not intended as medical advice, but for people that have medical training or have training in oral and systemic health, if they can use my information in a practical way
and provide better care,
it can provide.
Oh yeah.
Granted, they need to follow that up with their own research and things like that, but I think there shouldn't be a barrier to information.
I agree.
And so this is another way to put that information out.
Oh yeah.
So that's another main goal is just to try to make this information readily available on a platform where it isn't.
Yeah.
From a reliable evidence-based source. I mean, you can find information.
That's true. That was true. And now with AI, the AI pulls information from certain places and sources and references that, and then you have to investigate that. I think we're going in the right direction, though. You have the right idea.
Well, I will give a shout out. I did an AI video on a platform called Open Evidence, and they will provide information. It's I think Mayo Clinic kind of put it together. But they cite their sources, so you can look at the evidence when they submit something. So you can type in, how do I treat lichen planus? And it will give you a shootout thing.
Yeah.
Like Chat GPT will do. But
With the
instead, it
algorithms,
cites it. It gives you papers so that you can verify what you're reading.
That's really important. That is really important. Because then you
It's a
can
good
really
tool.
investigate what you're looking at there. Yeah. Huh. Oh, that's excellent.
I have a whole video on using AI, both from a clinical standpoint and histological.
Well, yeah, I don't have to go into that. We should go through that too.
Yeah.
I think we should collaborate on like the question of the day things too. At some point. I don't know how we're going to do it. I think we should definitely try to collaborate in that in some form, some sense. I really. But we could talk about it and go into it more in another day. I really think
Episode 2.
Episode 2. I really think LinkedIn.
I'm on it.
I think putting out content on there is going to be a home run for you. Not a single, not a double, a home run. I really think so. I've been putting out content there for roughly 3 years now. And everything is slow. All this stuff is slow to grow. And the later you start, or slower you, or less you provide content, less frequent content.
It's the same with any platform.
It is going to become slower. Yeah. I think LinkedIn would be a good dog. Good. Yeah. What shoes? Shoes. Good. 10.5. 10.5.
I think he's old man.
10.5.
Yeah.
So he's home right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't consider it too.
No. I'm going to go home after the show.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be less time than when I'm at work.
Oh, great.
He does well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He sleeps so well.
Great.
Greyhounds in general sleep a lot.
And greyhounds, one of my neighbors had a greyhound. Andy was her name. And, it's a very sweet dog. They
10 to 14. And he's 10.
10, 14 isn't there.
But I've only had him for a year. But they are, I've never had a dog before. It's just very low key, very simple, very concerned. He was, yeah.
Parks,
runs. But the biggest misconception is that they need to run a lot.
Mm.
They're sprinters. So he'll do like 4 laps and be like, all right, I'm done. Let's go home. I'm going to go to sleep on the couch. They call him 45-mile-an-hour couch potatoes because all they want to do is just sleep on the couch. And that's true for him too. He just wants to max out.
Oh my gosh, I love dogs.
Yeah, we've got him so he's got
dog treats.
25 days of
throwing a few more laps out in January, huh?
So
What's his name again?
Brutus after States.
Brutus.
Yeah.
B-R-U-D-T.
T-U-S.
Yeah. So awesome. What time? How we going? That clock by that. That's my alarm. It's like 10 minutes fast. Yeah.
Gets it in.
Finish faster.
It's good beer.
Delicious. Where is what thing are you going to right now?
I think it's a St. James. It's on 42nd. 42nd between 7.
Okay, not far.
No.
The parking.
No, I'll pay for it. So, yeah. I'm not going to buy it. Street.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how much of this is usable. Some of it.
Yeah, bathroom break, 2 hours. Wow.
Good luck.
Fantastic. I don't like to do too much editing, but with the pauses that were, you gotta do, of course. But cool. Oh, as it got darker, the lighting got a little bit better. It looks like, yeah,
Good.
Yeah. Sweet. I'll hit stop now. I wanted to